These panels tell the story of the origins of the Golden Fleece. When this temple was first built, Athena herself inspired the artists. Would you like me to narrate?
Not now, Pan.
Three more are waiting for you here, but these three do not know they wait.
There is one thing I don't understand, Strixa. Or should I say, Athena. Why make the people of Kithra wait all these years before setting them free?
And what should they have been set free to? A ravaged island? A shuttered temple? Their leaders dead? I have preserved my people, protected them until the arrival of someone who could truly save them. I believe you might be that person. Your resolve on your quest has shown me as much. Will you prove me right?
I am determined to save my wife. Whatever it takes to do that, I will do.
3 more cases you must weigh. 3 more judgments you must cast. The 3 who remain bear the burden of this island's fate. Phaedon, Perseus, and Medusa.
Where is Faden?
Faden is in the Hall of Philosophers, to the west. You must uncover the truth. Find out what part he played in Kithra's tragedy.
Where do I find Perseus?
In the Hall of Guardians, to the east. Perseus carries my blood, and so has not been preserved like the others, but he is in his own form of stasis. You must learn if he has the strength to bring an end to this.
The High Priestess. She is here?
She must be judged last, after the other 2. Only then will you be ready to confront the one in whom I place the greatest trust.
We will find these 3.
Remember, those outside could not be held responsible for the crimes that have occurred. They were worthy of being saved. Those inside the temple, however, must be judged by you. And be sure they will resist such judgment.
Now how did you know that little girl was Athena?
There's something strange about a little girl living alone in the swamp, is there not? Particularly one with gray eyes.
This is why we don't follow Athena on Mycenae. Disguises, tests, trials. Give me plain-spoken Ares any day. Now, who gets gutted first? Phaedon to the west, or Perseus to the east?
We must deal with both before we're done. Come.
The east path, to Perseus.
Athena, I have failed you. I am unworthy of your grace. But let me prove my devotion. If it takes 100 lifetimes, I will prove myself to you. Come no further. I am Perseus, guardian of this temple, and I will know your purpose.
Easy, Perseus. I am Jason, king of Iolcus. I've come to help you. Perseus, the people of Kithra live again. We've saved those we could.
The people have endured their judgment. I endure mine. Only I can atone for my own failure. You are not here to save me.
What judgment do you endure?
Athena has turned away from me. I can only hope to prove my devotion, so that she one day favors me again. I should have never left the temple after Faden and his corruption took hold. I should have stopped him. To stand against him, I would have had to oppose my sister, but I couldn't do it. So I left. I abandoned my duty, and now I'm doomed to never leave again.
What happened to Phaedon after Athena's intervention?
He's here, in the temple, in the Hall of Philosophers, cast in immortal stone. 1,000 times I have tried to destroy his statue, but it stands impervious. Athena keeps him here to remind me of my failings.
Together we can find the Golden Fleece and restore it to this temple. Would that not please Athena?
No, I cannot leave. I will not leave my sister behind.
If you will not leave, then I must find Medusa.
Do not go near my sister.
I have no quarrel with you, Perseus.
You are mistaken. If you try to see my sister, then we most certainly have a quarrel.
Careful, Perseus. Training is one thing, fighting another.
Yes, my chance for atonement.
Perhaps Athena fulfills her will through me. Have you thought of that?
Now you spew forth blasphemy! Do not claim Athena's favor here. Phaedon once spoke as you did. He too was only here to help. Perhaps you are here to test me, to see if I'll let another outsider prey upon my sister. Not this time.
Enough of this.
The spear! You have Athena's grace. Oh, Athena, what have I done?
You've spent too long thinking about what you have done. The question is, what will you do now? Where is your sister, Perseus?
She lies behind the waterfall. She is changed. I tried to protect her. Perhaps the time for protection is over. The spear of virtue. Only the one who holds this spear is allowed passage through the waterfall. Take it. To the west is the Hall of Philosophers. You will find Faden there. If you truly serve Athena's will, finish him, and then seek out my sister through the waterfall. Let the judgment be complete.
Thank you, Perseus.
Take care, Jason. My sister is different now. She will not listen to reason.
I hear people ahead.
It sounds like a debate.
My fellow philosophers, the Golden Fleece was an abomination. It had no place in this world. Its theft, criminal though it may be, will serve the greater good in the end. This I promise you, or my name is not Faden!
Why not just applaud yourself? Then you won't have need of an audience.
Clearly you are an expert on oratory, O nameless speaker. And do you have any other suggestions to share with us?
My name is Jason, and I say your speech is false.
Then we must debate, sir. That is, if you have the credentials to speak before such an august company.
Hear, hear!
Our custom demands that all who speak in this assembly first demonstrate a modicum of knowledge of the subject at hand.
Let there be questions, and let him offer answers.
Certainly you would have no objection to establishing your familiarity with the history of the fleas. For example, a most rudimentary question. Who created the Golden Fleece?
What's the answer, Pan?
The Titan Epimetheus.
The Titan Epimetheus fashioned the golden ram whose hide became the fleece.
Correct!
If you speak by proxy, sir, why not simply remove yourself as intermediary and let me speak to the satyr directly? Otherwise, I think we've heard enough from your horned and hirsute companion. Shall we continue? Here's a question any acolyte would be expected to answer. What two gifts did Prometheus grant unto man?
Prometheus stole sacred fire from Olympus and gave it to man.
And the other gift?
The second was an upright form in the image of the gods.
He has it right.
Well answered, Jason. Perhaps a lucky guess? One more question to determine your worth. Tell us, who killed the golden ram?
Zeus himself is the answer.
A comical reply. Preposterous.
You could not be further from the truth. Know thyself, sir. Truer words were never spoken. The answer, of course, is man. You seem to possess a rudimentary understanding of the fleece's history. Very well. If nothing else, I'll help expand your education. Charity is a virtue, too.
Phaedon, set the bounds of this discussion.
The thesis! The Golden Fleece is an abomination and has no place in the mortal world. The proponent, Faden, a humble servant of this temple and its high priestess. The opposition, Jason, an itinerant traveler from parts unknown.
Argument the first.
The fleece is an abomination. Was not he who created it, the Titan Epimetheus, cast down into Tartarus by Zeus for doing so? Clearly, the Lord of Olympus judged the act of creation to be evil and worthy of damnation. Can we not then infer that the product of that act is also evil and worthy of damnation?
A persuasive argument.
And yet a flawed one. Epimetheus' proud defiance of the command of Zeus was the cause of his undoing. How he defied that command is immaterial. His failing was due to a lack of discipline. Rather than obey the orders given him, he cast aside his duty in foolish competition with his brother. It wasn't the product of the act, but the act itself that drew the wrath of Zeus.
Yes, your argument is sound. You have my support, sir.
Pure sophistry. A clumsy argument to snare the feeble-minded. We continue.
Argument the second.
The fleece circumvents the will of the gods and the natural order. The immortal gods look down from mighty Olympus and wish such and such to be. And then Cleophas, the half-wit goatherd, uses the fleece and makes such and such not so.
I say we just kill him.
No mortal should have the power to countermand the divine scheme of life, death, and afterlife. I, for one, believe the will of the gods should be inviolate to the whims and caprices of imperfect minds.
A devout argument indeed.
Devout? I say a cold and cynical one. What of men who honor the gods? What of men inspired by the gods? Does my opponent deny that through man the gods can enact their wisdom? Your low opinion of our kind is unfortunate. But even more troubling is your low opinion of the gods. Surely those whose minds are perfect can foresee all outcomes, fleece or not, and act accordingly.
Indeed, a stirring rebuttal. You have my support, sir.
An untenable retort! The standards of philosophy here are lacking. We continue.
Argument the third.
Verily, the Golden Fleece brings out the worst in men. Wars have been waged for its possession. Brother has killed brother to claim its power. Its very presence on Kithra endangers the people of this island. Woe unto he who sleeps upon a bed of gold, for light is his slumber and his trepidation constant. Greece is undoubtedly a more peaceful place without the fleece in it.
Insightful words, truly.
The man has delusions of adequacy.
Do not fool yourself in thinking that a decrease of temptation ensures an increase of peace. Men will fight. They always do. If not for the fleece, then for power. If not for power, then for land. If not for land, then for gold. It's a flawed world, and we are its flawed inhabitants. It takes conviction to do what's right in such a world. It takes justice. Let our lives be ruled by order, and the evils of temptation diminish. In the right hands, the fleece is an instrument of justice.
A sober argument, but for me, it collapsed under the weight of its own impetus. This point belongs to Phaedon.
A carefully measured decision. And now for the closing arguments. Good sirs, I appeal to the most discriminating sagacity of this assemblage. The fleece is an abomination, a singularity, and singularities are dangerous things. It has the power to conquer nations, the power to raise the living from the dead, and yet it has no conscience. It gives its power indiscriminately to any who can claim it, whether by brutish strength or cunning guile. Why do we risk such calamity? And for what? All that good men should reasonably do, they can accomplish without the fleece. We are better off without it, say I.
I am a simple man. And simple men are best equipped to deal with simple truths. I am not one for ostentatious pedantry or spurious erudition. I will leave that to my opponent. What I do know is this. The fleece is neither good nor evil. It does not decide its purpose any more than does my sword. The only thing certain in this life is we all are to leave it eventually. The fleece may delay that moment, but it cannot remove it. We men are transient things. The fleece does not change that. As such, how can the fleece be an abomination? It does not alter our fundamental nature. We are taught that the Titan Epimetheus made the Golden Fleece. But why did he make it? To rival the glory of man. Is the fleece a risk in evil hands? Yes, but in good hands, it keeps us humble. For there is nothing we can do that it cannot undo. Used with prudence, the fleece encourages discipline and imparts wisdom, ensures justice, inspires courage. I hope all here would agree that these virtues most certainly have a place in this world.
Brilliant! We hear Athena's wisdom.
Hear, hear!
Well spoken, Jason. Truly, you are a man of many talents.
Someone fetch a laurel crown!
You can't all be persuaded by this chicanery!
Wonderfully said, sir!
Bah! It was too much to think this self-important rabble could comprehend simple truths. You, sir, are the most dangerous kind of agitator. And there's only one way to reason with an agitator.
There is no debate or argument with evil such as this.
Silence, filthy thing! I am the voice of this temple.
Well, well. Would you look at that?
You are a black tongue!
What?
Not that it matters now. My work here is done. That slut Medusa was easy work. And her brother proved a coward. No! The fleece left Kithra in the Raven's clutch. The Black Tongues have it now.
You fiend!
Where is it? Where is the fleece? You will tell me!
It is where you cannot find it. Where you cannot even search. This sword, it once belonged to a priest of Hades. We had a debate, he and I. We argued over who was the rightful ruler of Tartarus. He claimed Hades, while I know it to be Hecate. Despite my flawless reasoning, he simply refused to acknowledge the truth. It is a fine blade, is it not? When words fail,
Thank you, Jason. I'm ashamed to say I once sat in that hall and shouted praise to Phaedon.
It seems Faden fooled many people on this island.
Indeed. He had a way of being persuasive, but he had no answer to your argument. It was an honor to hear you speak. Where did you learn to orate in such a manner?
I simply spoke what my heart told me. The best speeches are not prepared.
We who follow Athena are taught differently. But you certainly were effective in what you did. Thank you again, Jason.
Only one remains. Of all my people, Medusa is most responsible for the events that occurred. She has had time and opportunity to reflect upon what she's done. But you must decide her final fate.